seizures. Use with caution in dogs with a history of seizures or neurologic disorders. Get next-level protection with NexGuard Plus.
Good evening to you. We are following breaking news here on Houston Live and Local. We do understand a press conference is going on right now on the shooting, the deadly officer-involved shooting in Houston. Let's take a listen.
Certain points, he was threatening the officers with the bat. The officer discharged, two officers discharged their tasers, but it had no impact. The suspect continued to walk toward Hammerly, and he crossed Hammerly, and then he reached, there's a bus stop right behind my back. He got to that point, and he saw what appeared to be a chunk of concrete, and he picked it up and started threatening the officers with the concrete. And one of the officers at that point discharged his weapon more than once and struck the suspect. Immediately after that, the officers began to provide medical attention, and then later on, the suspect was pronounced deceased at the location. The suspect is, we believe he's a Hispanic male in his 50s, and the officer who discharged his weapon, he has 3 years on in the department, and he will be placed on administrative duties, and his body-worn camera will be released within 30 days. As you can see, this is a very sad event, and we're going to make sure that this incident is investigated thoroughly. At the moment, we have homicide, internal affairs, as well as the district attorney's office conducting independent investigations. That's all I have at the moment. Now I'll make myself available for any questions that you may have.
You said that the officers did discharge their tasers before.
Yes, they did multiple times.
And they had no effect?
Because the suspect had a heavy jacket, and that's one of the reasons I believe they did not have any impact.
Was he saying anything to the officers whenever this happened? I know that they told him to drop the bat. Did he respond to anything else? Do you know?
He didn't comply with their officer's command, and the officers continuously gave him commands in English and in Spanish.
You said that the security officer called at a different location. What was that location?
No, in the 7000 block of Long Point, he called in the morning, and then he called again in the afternoon. And both times, the suspect had a bat.
Is this a mental case? Because he looks kind of like he might have problems.
We don't know, but that will be part of the investigation. He threatened the officers with the. At some points, he threatened the officers with the bat, and then once he crossed over Hammerly, he picked up the chunk of concrete. Then he threatened the officers with the with that object.
Is there any other alternative besides shooting him?
The officers in this incident gave him multiple commands, and they encountered the suspect, and they walked with him for crossing the street, and still gave him verbal commands to put the bat down. Every case is different. In this case, the traffic wasn't that heavy, I'm assuming, and we also had vigilant, probably the citizens, and they were paying attention to what was going on in the intersection as they crossed the intersection. So, but we always want to make sure the scene is safe for us to take any kind of action.
Last question. Chief, this is the fourth officer-involved shooting within the last 2 weeks. What are your thoughts? Why are we seeing a little bit of a spike?
All those cases the four, they're still under investigation, so each case is unique on its own. But I do want to say that our officers are encountering these kind of events where they have to use deadly force. This just points out that officers are this very difficult job for us to do when we encounter somebody using weapons and threatening the officers.
Was it because people are more aggressive towards the officers? Or?
As I mentioned, every case is different, and I don't want to comment on ongoing investigations. And I don't want to generalize either.
Your name and your
Yasser Bashir, Assistant Chief with the Houston Police
All right,
Department.
we are listening right now to the Houston Police Department giving us an update on this deadly officer-involved shooting. Now, we do know that this first call came in as an officer assist. Now, this is officers are saying no officers were injured in this incident. Now, we do know that there is body camera footage and will be released in about 30 days. But the suspect, believed to be an Hispanic male in his 50s, did die. Now, there were several commands that were given according to investigators, but he did not follow those commands and did threaten authorities with a bat and also an object. We'll have more on this coming up on Fox 26 News at 9 and also on our website, fox26houston.com. All right, let's go to Galveston, where we do understand that unfortunately a person has died. They drowned, and we have Fox 26's Randy Wallace, who is actually in Galveston right now. It was a toddler who drowned in a swimming pool. Randy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right, Rashi. Now, that happened, I believe, at an apartment complex yesterday. That happened yesterday. The big concern, of course, is this is Memorial Day weekend, kind of the official start of summer. So a lot of folks are going to be coming here to Galveston for the holiday weekend, and obviously they're going to want to enjoy the beach. And everyone needs to keep in mind about the rip current. If you'll recall, last Memorial Day weekend, there were two drowning deaths due to rip currents. A 26-year-old man from Louisiana and a 19-year-old man both died here at the beach because of a rip current. Now, the best thing to keep in mind is it's sort of like a traffic light. The guards put up flags, and it's sort of, don't go, caution, stop. Be sure to pay attention to the flags, and it doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are, because if you get caught in a rip current, it could just take you in. So everybody wants to have a safe, good weekend. So when you come out here, just be aware of the rip current and watch out for the flags. Rashi?
All right, Randy Wallace reporting live for us there. Thank you, Randy. Let's go to meteorologist Ramisha Shade, who's going to talk about what we can expect if you are going out to the beach this weekend.
Well, like Randy just said, there will be some potential dangers out there, especially with those rip currents. So that is going to be the biggest issue. We're talking about basically a kind of narrow, fast-moving current that you really can't see that well, but it can develop quickly and it can pull you away from the beach or away from shore very quickly. It's that area that you see in the middle. When that develops, you could be the best of the swimmer, but it can still impact you. So it pulls you away quickly and you wonder, how do I get out of this? Well, you need to try to swim parallel to the shore. That's your escape route to get away from that pool of the rip current. And once you escape that pool, then you can swim back towards shore and you'll be safe again. Now, if you're not a great swimmer and you get caught in one of these rip currents, you don't need to panic. That's just going to make it worse. Try to wave your hand so that help can come and hopefully get you out of it, because it is certainly a dangerous situation. So that's going to be the biggest issue all weekend long as far as what's going on at Galveston Beach and other beaches. There will be the potential for these rip currents, unfortunately. So we're going to continue to monitor things closely, but I think that is going to be our main concern. So if you are going to be heading out to the beach for this evening, temps in the 80s, tomorrow likely temps in the 80s as well, and it will be breezy. That wind out of the southeast around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts near 20 miles per hour. This is your Galveston Beach forecast for Saturday. Rip current risk will remain on the elevated side, warm and steamy, close to 90 degrees by 2 o'clock. So you will need to use the sunscreen, make sure you're hydrating, don't stay in the sun for too long, but just keep those things in mind and make sure to have a fun time this weekend, but you want to be safe. Now, let's get back to what's going on right now. We've got a strong storm still impacting parts of Grimes County, northwest Montgomery, southwestern Walker County. We did have the potential for some quarter-size hail earlier, but that looks like it has weakened a bit, but there's still some very heavy rain in this as it drifts very slowly to the north and east. But earlier we had a big-time storm pop up over Tomball, and look at this, just over the last 2 to 3 hours, almost 3 inches of rain showing up right around Tomball. So you will need to watch out for maybe some ponding of water or a little bit of flooding on some of those streets if you are driving in and around Tomball. this weekend, we've got a lot of people flocking to the beaches or to pools. A lot of pools will be opening up in area neighborhoods because it's Memorial Day holiday weekend. So I did put together a beach and pool forecast for you. Here's our pool forecast for your holiday weekend. Middle 90s likely for Saturday, 93 for Sunday, and 90 degrees for Monday. I think most of this weekend will be dry, but Monday, Memorial Day, that is when we have a much better chance for a few of those showers and storms popping up. I think during the day, we're mainly dry, but by Monday evening after 7 p.m., that's when that rain and storm chance will start to go up 50 to 60%. So just be careful out there. I think it is going to be a fun and festive holiday weekend, but you want to stay safe. Watch out for the rip currents out at the area beaches, and also be careful in the heat. No record heat expected, but it's still going to be hot.
Yes, definitely. Good advice right there. Thank you, Ramisha. Well, Texas lawmakers have passed a sweeping ban on THC products that have become widely and legally available in recent years. And Fox 26 business reporter Tom Ziska says the legislation threatens a multi-billion-dollar industry.
There are more than 8,000 businesses in Texas that sell THC products that mimic the effects of marijuana, but it comes from hemp, which was legalized in 2019. They range from storefronts like this to other businesses that supply a growing demand for the calming effects of THC. Houston's Eighth Wonder Brewing made headlines when it introduced its THC seltzers into Specs liquor stores across the state, joining a long list of producers taking advantage of legal hemp and THC.
This is poisonous THC. No regulations whatsoever. No one knows what's in it.
Fast forward a year after Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick made banning THC in Texas one of his legislative priorities this session. The measure should end up on the governor's desk after the State House and Senate iron out some differences.
It's disheartening to hear that because, what it means is Texas is not open for business. It's not interested in new categories.
Ben Megg's company, Bayou City Hemp, was created after hemp's legalization and bought Eighth Wonder in part to make and distribute THC beverages. He says there was concern as soon as he heard about Patrick's complaints and has tried to argue for regulation that could limit sales that target kids or products that are stronger than they might need to be. Last year, this Conroe mother told us her teen son was sent to the hospital after middle school classmates pressured him to try a THC gummy. But among adults, THC products support tens of thousands of jobs and generate billions of dollars in business that supporters say could disappear with the stroke of a pen.
This ban is a direct hit to Texas jobs, veterans, and responsible consumers, killing an industry President Trump legalized and forcing companies to flee the state just to ship products back in. We urge the Governor Abbott to veto this.
Ben Megg says if the ban goes into effect, Bayou City Hemp would be unable to operate in Texas and would likely move to Florida, where Governor Ron DeSantis vetoed a similar bill last year. And the 100 employees of his would not all be able to go with him, he thinks. Governor Abbott has not indicated which way he sits on this particular issue, but if he signs the bill into law, it goes into effect starting in September. Watching your money, Tom Ziska, Fox 26 News.
All right, it's going to be such a busy summer. A lot of people are going to be traveling. If you are traveling on Southwest Airlines, there's going to be some changes, especially if you are bringing in some portable chargers on board. We have Fox's Casey Stiegel taking a look at what's in store for next week.
Nearly all of the rechargeable products we use these days are powered by a lithium-ion battery. Consumer safety video shows just how quickly one of these batteries can catch fire and spread.
They can store a lot of energy in a small footprint, but when that energy is released in an uncontrolled way, that's very dangerous.
Brian O'Connor with the National Fire Protection Association says they also emit deadly gases.
Carbon monoxide is one of the main components that come off of lithium-ion battery fires. You can get carbon monoxide poisoning. There are a bunch of other toxic chemicals in there you do not want to breathe in.
A passenger on board a Spirit Airlines plane back in March shot this cell phone video of flight crews trying to extinguish a battery that caught fire in an overhead bin. Starting next week, Southwest Airlines says these types of portable chargers must be visible while in use, no longer allowed to be stored in a bag or bin. The Dallas-based carrier tells Fox 4 in a statement, quote, "Nothing is more important to Southwest than the safety of its customers and employees."
I think it sounds like a good idea that you keep those batteries out so that people can see them instead of them being hidden and then possibly being a fire on the plane. That'd be bad news.
Most passengers at Dallas Love Field say they're all about policies to improve safety. Others say this doesn't go far enough.
It should take a lot of consideration and maybe some parameters to put around in place, maybe beyond just visibility, that would ensure safety for everyone.
According to the FAA, there have been 19 incidents since April involving lithium-ion batteries on planes. Experts say it's a relatively low number considering how many flights operate every single day. Still, the industry doesn't want to take any chances.
All right, and that was Casey Stiegel reporting for us at Dallas Love Field. The new policy kicks in on Wednesday, and customers, Southwest says that it's been notifying the customers before they fly and says that the change is all in the name of safety. We'll be right back.
If you are coming down to Galveston Island for the big Memorial Day celebration, we want to give you some information to help you stay safe on the beach and have the best possible time. I've got the Wave Watchers with me here. I've got Edis, I've got Robert, I've got Carlos. Edis, do you want to say hello to everyone and welcome to Galveston Island?
Welcome to Galveston Island.
See? I already feel more at home. All right, so here's the deal. The beaches are going to be packed, filled with people enjoying the weekend. If you see these blue shirts, Robert, tell everybody what the Wave Watchers are here for.
So the Wave Watchers are a volunteer group with the Galveston Island Beach Patrol, and we just help ensure that people have a happy, safe, fun time. So we educate about water conditions, about where to swim, where not to swim. We help with first aid, jellyfish stings, things like that. When children get confused where they are, we help them find their parents. So just a lot of little different stuff. We don't do rescues. That's the lifeguards' responsibility, but we just kind of help out to allow them to do the best that they can.
Yeah, it's all about having the right information, especially if you're coming down here. And Carlos, you know this, you've been here for a while. There's new people moving to Houston all the time.
Yep.
So this might be the first visit to Galveston Island for some people in the Houston area. What's the number one tip? What do you want to tell them to be aware of?
The number one tip is look at the flags that the lifeguard station. Swim close to the lifeguard all the time, away from the rocks. And if you get caught in a rip current, let it float. Float with it, relax, and let the lifeguard come and get you. Don't try to swim against it.
So, and you mentioned this when we were talking earlier. What's the number one question when they come up to one of the wave watchers? What's the number one question people ask?
Where can I swim safely?
Got it, and that's a good question to ask.
Yes, and I always tell them the best place to swim safely is close to a lifeguard, away from the rocks.
Exactly, because and we were talking to Lieutenant Austin Kerwin earlier with Beach Patrol, and he put out a good fact. He said, look, if you're in a group of friends and everybody wants to go in the water, leave one person on the shore to always have a visual on those other people.
Yeah, it is very important to have somebody that is keeping an eye on everybody. That way, if something goes wrong, they can
somebody can call for help.
Call for help, and they'll be the ones that can help you and save you if something goes wrong.
And also, guys, it's good to know some of our wave watchers are also bilingual, English and Spanish.
Claro, estamos aquí, somos de la Ciudad de México, mi esposa y yo, y si vienen a la playa, por favor, lo más importante, naden cerca de un salvavidas. Si las banderas, vean el color de las banderas, pregúnteles dónde sea, naden lejos de las piedras. Si los agarra una corriente y los está jalando fuera del mar, floten con ella, no se desesperen y el salvavidas va a ir a recogerlos. Y lo más importante, si hacen carne asada, apaguen su carbón.
If you are barbecuing, make sure after you eat, you put out your charcoals or extinguish your fire. We don't want any trouble down here. All right, guys, and as always, Beach Patrol said, check the Galveston Island website. You can check the Beach Patrol website and have all the information for you there. Have a wonderful Memorial Day from Galveston Island. Ruben Dominguez, Fox 26 News.
And we know that Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer. Can't wait for that. But, a lot of people do go to San Marcos. And if you are going to go there, you might have to shell out some more cash to enjoy that water. Fox's Katie Pratt explains.
The city of San Marcos might start charging out-of-town visitors an access fee to use the park. It's a concept they brought up in a Tuesday work session.
I think that's a bad idea just because it brings less people in the community.
They're considering charging people to generate revenue and offset the rise in cost for security and maintenance of the riverfront parks.
That makes perfect sense to me. I mean, this is a beautiful park. I hate to see people trash it, so I wouldn't be against that.
The presentation came right before Memorial Day weekend. We're told the city would only charge visitors from out of town on the weekends and holidays.
Our park ambassadors would staff the access points. We will not staff those access points traditionally Monday through Thursday.
According to the data collected by the city, 70% of weekend riverfront park visitors are just that, visitors.
I think community is a very important thing to me. I think people, honestly, from Dallas, Austin, Houston, I think everyone should merge and be a big community. I think that's better.
If they decide to implement the plan, they discussed having resident river passes for people to use to get in for free.
Our proposed access fee for out-of-town visitors is $25 per group, which is up to 10 people of any age, or $5 per individual, anyone age 6 or older.
No action has been taken by City Council, but if they do decide to move forward with this, there will be an opportunity for community input before they put it to a vote. I'm reporting in San Marcos, Katie Pratt, Fox 7 Austin News.
All right, well, get your motor running. The Indianapolis 500 is Sunday right here on Fox 26, and the winner will get one of the most impressive trophies in sports, and it has a lot of history. Ryan Armani with our sister station in Detroit got a chance to check it out.
It is the Borg Warner Trophy. It is awarded to the winner of the Indianapolis 500. Such a special trophy, one of the most unique in all of sports. Steve, talk to me about this massive beauty here.
Yeah, it is beautiful, that's for sure, and it is massive. It's 5 feet 4 inches tall. It was created in 1935. weighs 110 pounds, and it's got a sterling silver image of every Indianapolis 500 winner from 1911, Ray Haroon, to our latest winner, Joseph Newgarden, who won last year, who's going for 3 in a row this year.
How many more years before you might need to add another layer to it?
We will be out of room for fate in 2034 will be the last year that an image is on this base. Then they'll add another one. It's like a wedding cake. It'll build from the bottom up. So 2034, run out of space and get creative and build a new base for it.
How long before the winner's face goes on that trophy after the race?
It usually, the winning driver will go to Will Behrens, who's been the sculptor of the Borg Warner Trophy since 1990. We'll have the winning driver go to Will's studio in Tryon, North Carolina, where he'll work on a life-size image out of clay before he does a little one out of clay. The process, win the Indy 500 in May, we'll usually unveil the image sometime right around Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, and then the winning driver and the winning owner receive a baby Borg, which is 18 inches tall. You really can't take this one home. And it's not like the Stanley Cup. There's only one Borg Warner trophy. Stanley Cup, there's 2. There's one of these, so...
how much pressure goes along with protecting that?
Oh, there's a great group, whether it's at the track with the yellow shirt security or there's another group. We've got 3 or 4 people when it travels, whether it's within the United States or goes overseas, 3 or 4 people, and they're all careful and they polish it, make it look nice, and treat it like it should be treated.
Can I touch it?
Could jinx you.
No, I'm good.
The thing, if you're a past Indianapolis winner, you're allowed to touch it. But even some of them get a little hesitant, and don't want to jinx it. But after they win, everybody looks at it so close, and it's cool because they see their fellow drivers, their friends, drivers that they've idolized over the years. But it's kind of like the Stanley Cup and the Super Bowl trophy. Until you've won, I mean, you're allowed to touch it, can jinx you. You can lose.
No.
You could get lost instead of headed north home. You might end up going south.
It's a contract year. I'm not
contract. Well, there you go.
Thanks, Steve.
Give the boy a raise. Come
we
on.
appreciate it. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much.
This trophy will.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually touch the trophy either, so I understand what he was doing there. All right, again, the Indy 500 is Sunday right here on Fox 26, and race day coverage begins at 9 a.m. You know, it's not raining outside, but we do know that there might be some showers come the actual Memorial Day. We're talking about Monday. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside to see what's going on. I know that a lot of people are going to be traveling, but this is State Highway 99, the Grand Parkway at Glen Lock Forest, where things are looking pretty good. So far, so good. Another live look with our TransStar camera. The other great thing, like I said, it's not raining right now, so there's going to be so many people traveling and on the roadways, so we're not going to be seeing much when it comes to the visibility and issues when it comes to that, so that's good news there. It should be pretty clear the rest of the weekend. It's Monday when we're supposed to get some showers. Of course, download the Fox Local app, which is free on your smartphone and also your TV, and you can always be up to date with all things weather and news. We'll see you next time.